Welcome to the Hemlock State Explorer. Today we are in Bainbridge at the Northwest River Trail trailhead, and we're going to explore the White Cliffs of Conoy. As you can see, the parking lot is nearly full on this beautiful, warm, early fall day, but there's overflow parking right through here. This is private property, but it's open to parking for use of the trailhead and the boat launch, which is where we're headed. The White Cliffs of Conoy are an oddity and a piece of local history. They're the result of lime production in the now ghost town of Billmeyer, which we'll also explore along the way. You can bike easily to the White Cliffs. They're only a few miles from the trailhead, but today we're going to take a trip down the river so you can see them in full effect from the open Susquehanna. The river is quite shallow right now on account of the little rain that we've received since the end of the summer, and you could probably walk across the Susquehanna in certain places. There are lots of riffles and rocks a little bit to the south of us and then to the north of us up at Falmouth, but we should have plenty of depth to make it to the White Cliffs. Across the way you can see the smokestack of Bruner Island power plant, and just beyond that island is the Black Gut. And you can join us on that adventure as we explored the mystery and dark history in the secrets of the Black Gut. But for now, let's get on the river. After a very pleasant paddle down the Susquehanna, we've parked on some riffles at these rocks, and here it is, the White Cliffs of Conoy. As would be expected on this beautiful day, there are other adventurers on the White Cliffs. Let's zoom in. Yeah, there they are. Let's get a closer look and join the other adventurers climbing on the cliffs. But before we leave these rocks, I just want to draw your attention to a very interesting feature common in this area of the Susquehanna, these potholes in the rocks. There's a place a few miles north of here, upstream, called Falmouth, which really has some amazing formations. It's a part of the Susquehanna with huge boulders that you could almost walk across the river, but there are natural whirlpools and just very interesting formations similar to this, but on a much, much larger scale. All right, with that, we'll take a look across the river. You see that these riffles extend all the way across. The water moves pretty quickly, but you could almost walk across the Susquehanna if you have good footing. There's Bruner Island power plant, and then to the right side up the shore, that's where we came in at. And if we pan downstream, you can see the historic Shocks Mill Bridge, and beyond that you can see the Robert Kinsley Natural Area and Shoals Rock, both of which we explored, and you can see at hemlockstateexplorer.com. All right, let's get up to the cliffs. The story of the White Cliffs begins with a local prominent family, the Haldimans, who settled the area in the 1790s. In the 1840s, John Haldiman quarried lime here and built 2 kilns to process the limestone into lime. Lime production was big business in this region due to the abundance of high-quality limestone. Lime was produced by heating the limestone in kilns with coal to approximately 2,000 degrees, thus decomposing the calcium carbonate into calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. Calcium oxide is the lime. Lime was in great demand for use in things like fertilizer, plaster, and whitewash. In 1896, John E. Baker and his brother-in-law, George S. Billmeyer of Wrightsville Lime Company, acquired and expanded the Haldiman property here in Conoy Township. The name of the company was changed to the J.E. Baker Company. A company town grew around the operations, and Baker named it Billmeyer after his wife's family. The town of Billmeyer experienced a boom during World War I. Italy was the United States' primary source of raw materials for refractory brick needed for steel furnaces. Trade of these materials was cut off during the war, so the J.E. Baker Company was the first to supply a substitute from the high-quality dolomite of the Billmeyer quarry, which became known as Donegal dolomite. However, by the 1940s, the demand for dolomite was in decline. Production waned, and the town of Billmeyer dwindled along with it. The last of the mining operations ceased in 1957, and in 1961 the quarry pumps were shut off and the quarry filled with approximately 70 feet of water. The town of Billmeyer was abandoned, and the remaining dilapidated buildings were demolished in 2007. What an oddity. We're walking up through a ravine between the two main sections of the cliffs. It really looks like a lunar landscape. Being careful, you can easily scale the sides of the cliffs, at least from this section. But this is a little bit loose footing, so be careful. Made it up there no problem. There's a bench over here from which to enjoy the view. And that's where we just came from. Popular spot. Actually, I was expecting a bit more people on such a nice day. I've seen some weird things up here. People taking maternity pictures, homecoming pictures. I mean, it's a scenic spot, but wouldn't be my first choice for something like that, but for some folks it is. But wow, look at these beautiful views, not just of the cliffs, but of the river. Spectacular. Be careful because you could easily walk right off the edge. There is nothing stopping you from doing that except your own good sense. And as you can see, these look like the edges of the cliffs would just crumble right under your feet if you got too close. We'll pan across the White Cliffs. If I didn't know any better, I would think we were on another planet. We are on the Northwest River Trail, and this would have actually been the main street down through the now ghost town of Billmeyer. And you can see across the railroad tracks there are the ruins of the factory, and behind that the quarry. That's all private property, so this is as close as we're going to get. Also be careful because this is an active railroad, and a train just passed through here maybe half an hour ago. Wow. Fascinating history of a place that was once a boom town, and now, well, as you see, it's just ruins. All through the White Cliffs you can see pieces of metal and machinery sticking out of the ground. There's some steel cable, remnants of what was once a thriving boom town, just dumped here as waste in the lime. Thanks for joining us once again to the very strange and one-of-a-kind White Cliffs of Conoy here in the northwestern corner of Lancaster County on the Susquehanna River. Such a strange place, easy to get to via a short walk or bike ride even. You can take the family because the rail trail is very easy and of course flat. And be sure to check out this adventure and all of our other adventures at hemlockstateexplorer.com. And until next time, we can't wait to see you on the next adventure. And until next time, we can't wait to see you on the next adventure.